This is a special night, kind of like a special night we had a few nights ago in that very, very hot church. But I don't think any of you all are going to forget that night for the rest of your life. It was a night when we talked about honor. Tonight we're going to talk about service. And throughout my time as the president of Hampen-Sydney College, I've started this dialogue, this conversation. And it's a conversation that says, what does it mean to be a Hampen-Sydney man in 2009? If we can pair up honor, and we can put service right there, and we can put having a hell of a lot of fun right here, and we can put studying really hard and kicking butt in our grades and our academics, and we can put kicking right out, making butt in sports in there, that's a pretty good start. That's a pretty good start. So tonight, gentlemen, we're going to talk about service. I feel like you need to see, you'd be well served, or to see servants in action.
And I realized, like, wow, if I come here, I'm going to have some very smart people who are going to force me to think outside of my comfort zone.
Thank you for sharing that. I hope that you're picking up from the first such comments, especially Drew's, that it's okay to aspire to something, A, higher than you thought you would aspire to. Maybe you came here for X, Y, or Z reason, but it's just fine to set the bar really high personally. But there's nothing wrong with being an 18-year-old young man and being serious-minded. Help me understand, as a Hampen-Sydney man, how law and service works together in your mind.
As a lawyer, I've got a professional responsibility to do a certain amount of pro bono work. But I think Hampen-Sydney instills certain values in me. I feel a certain moral obligation to do my part. I feel like my community has done a great deal for me, and this is one way that I can give back to the community. And it hadn't been all self-serving. I think it's made me a better lawyer. From the very beginning, I wanted to do criminal law, and it's gotten me into the courtroom. I probably try as many cases as any lawyer in the state of Virginia. So a lot of them are court-appointed. I get paid a little bit for those, but as I said, it's not all self-serving. I think the biggest thing is I came to realize a lot later than I hope you will that with great opportunity comes great responsibility. And I would urge each of you to think about that right now and realize that from day one. Don't wait until you're 30 years old and been practicing law a few years to come to the realization that you owe something back.
I really liked it. I came here and I did so much better in school than I ever had because I was challenged. I ended up 5 Beta Kappa and I did ODK. People, my friends who were in other schools were really wondering, why the heck do you want to be a teacher? You can go get a good internship somewhere. You can go why don't you go into business or sales, or you should do something like that. No one at Hampen-Sydney ever questioned me for being a teacher because I think people here got it. It was fun for me, and it really kind of fueled that fire. And I was like, I have to teach other people what I've learned. Like, I have to let other people know that learning can change you as a person. And I really wanted to give back what had been given to me here. I wrote an email to my professors in April and just kind of said, I almost felt like, if you guys see the movie The Matrix, the original one, not the second or third. And it was, the idea of, take the red pill or the blue pill, and somebody coming in and pulling, somebody out of this world and like opening them up. I felt like that had been done to me, and I wanted to go and wake up more people that weren't in school, and that you can be a good person and there are higher ideals in academics. And I had a great run last year. I had the best time. It was the hardest I've ever worked in my life, but it was because I loved what I was doing, and that passion came from this school.
I left this place in 1960, and within a month was in the plant of the Hawthorne Paper Company in Richmond. This place did not particularly prepare me for the paper industry, but it prepared me to get along with a lot of different kinds of people. In 1975, we bought that company, and as Dr. Howard said earlier, I was made president and CEO of it. But that required 2 visits to New York City every year, one in March and one in September, for paper conventions. Bottom line, I was thrown with a top level of huge companies like International Paper Company, Hammer Mill Paper Company, Mead Corporation. I was thrown with all those guys for 3 or 4 days, twice a year. Those guys came out of places like Princeton. They came out of places like Dartmouth. And several of the other ones at Yale, all of which you would know. And they were well educated and well documented in their accomplishments, and they were at the top of their ladder, so to speak, in their particular corporations. And I would be thrown with them socially. And I discovered within days, and it was just a routine matter after that I was just as well educated, just as sharp academically. The experiences I had here were just as good, if not better, than the guys that I was thrown with. And I pass that along to you because that's what you're going to get here. But what you're also going to get here, I hope, and this was the gift the place gave me, was the sensitivity that one has a responsibility to one's fellow man.
What intrigued me, Overton and Spencer, about your service odysseys is one went local and one went global. And I'd like you all to comment on that. Overton, we'll start with you. You're reading, you're working in the South Side, Virginia, you're working in the journalism space, you're interacting with these local folks that are committed to that space. How does that pull work, and how does that local pull work? Was it greater because it was just folk that you knew, or I'm intrigued by the fact that you kind of bloomed where you were planted.
One of the things that this class will learn, and some of you have learned a lot of this already, and you'll certainly learn it at Hampen-Sydney class after class, is the power of an idea. And I think the idea we're talking about tonight, when we're talking about service, is the idea that we are called upon to care about other people, and that life is enriched when we do care about other people. And I've seen this belief that we are called upon to care about other people. I've seen it among our volunteers from every walk of life. I've seen it from our donors from every walk of life. And I've seen it among our partner families. You know, these are low-income families who help build their own home, and then after that obligation is over, they continue helping build their neighbors' homes because they also believe that we're called upon to serve, and that life is enriched by serving.
Thank you. Spencer, in both of your examples, you were abroad. And I'm just curious the origins of being pulled to serve in a place that's not your backyard.
Americans are so fortunate, and people around the world obviously see that. And I just really wanted to go to them and try to help them there. It's important for these people to have a reason to stay in Kosovo, and that was really something that every person I met in Kosovo tried to say, like, you know, stick it out, stay the course. Kosovo needs you. The area, the Balkans need you. There's opportunity here. Just stay. You know, we're trying to help you. And that was really something for me. Is that I want these people to be able to have a better life in their own homes and not have to think about fleeing, you know, their neighbors and their countries in search of prosperity.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've seen different models of how you can serve home and abroad, public, private, legal, business, etc. And this is just the first of many opportunities and exposure to these folks.
You've all heard the cliche of settings like this, your freshman convocation, and they say, you know, look at the guy to your right, and look at the guy to your left, and I don't know what the cliche is, one of you won't make it or something, but instead I want you to look at the person to your right and look at the person to your left, and know that both of them will change the world for the better.